I'm Terry Pascoe and welcome to After the 80 Local Edition. On today's show, we will review the Chairman's Challenge from the weekend, talk to the League Manager Brenan Lindsay, as well as preview the upcoming Round 11 action. Joining me as per usual every week to talk all things Ipswich Rugby League, Anthony Bomber Breeze.
No, we obviously didn't have any games on the weekend. We had the Chairman's Challenge, which is our rep weekend. The results probably didn't go our way, but we'll talk about that shortly.
And also joining us on the panel is the Rugby League Ipswich League Manager, Brenan Lindsay. Welcome.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Now, if you'd like to join the discussion, you can find us on Facebook. Just go to Phoenix Media Hub, like the page and comment away. Now, let's have a look at the action on the weekend. This was the Chairman's Challenge. So this is, I guess, a bit of a... well, Bomber, we're gifted tonight. We've got a selector and we've got the League Manager on the panel. So this was a bit more of a trial before the big A-grade carnival.
Yeah, well, obviously the Chairman's Challenge, it's a representative team from the Ipswich competition, from the Brisbane second division and the Gold Coast competition. They all select sides. They have a round robin, all play each other over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there's a winner announced, but the main thing is there's a Water Dragons team, which is announced, which it has been announced now, and they go on to play in 2 weeks' time in a carnival to pick the Rangers team, where they play teams from North Queensland, Central, and the Brisbane Poinsettias.
It wasn't a good weekend for Ipswich, Brendan. I guess what can the guys take out of it, or even your opinion on it?
Yeah, look, it's an opportunity, as Bomber just said, to stake some claims and hopefully put your case forward for a Rangers jersey. Look, I think the guys are probably just a little impatient with the ball at times, which has obviously led to those results. Look, as Bomber said, the team's been announced. We've had 2 boys in it, so hopefully those boys, in particular Ono, can grab another Rangers jersey in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Bomber, as you were saying, this is leading into the A-grade carnival, which is on the 2nd and 3rd of June. Now, just for people, because obviously Brisbane will have its own side of the Poinsettias, but this is the Brisbane a mixture of the Brisbane second division, Ipswich and the Gold Coast, so around the southeast Queensland. Yeah,
well, they're called the Water Dragons. I think that was the name Brad Talon thought up. It's got a bit of meaning around the area there, if you want to Google it up there. But we've had strong teams in the past, and obviously you've seen from the results there, Brisbane won it this year. They were a very strong side. They give us a bit of a touch up there, and they also, Gold Coast, they had it over Gold Coast. They were well drilled. They seemed well organised and obviously well structured, and they had some big boys and they ran hard. So.
Yeah, look, we'll have a look at the Ipswich Gold Coast game. Again, this wasn't a great game for Ipswich, but I guess it did show some really good potential and a little bit of speed there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Ray Bear is a gifted player who played well in that Gold Coast game. Yeah, as I said, Terry, it's probably we saw glimpses of what the team could have done, but I just don't think they were able to put full 70-minute performances together, which cost us because there were some experienced players through the Gold Coast and Brisbane sides, and I think they just won the individual battles, obviously.
But as a selector, I guess was there challenges there of selecting the right team on the paddock?
Well, obviously there is. I was like the Ipswich selector. Every division gets a selector there, so I got to try and push for the Ipswich ones there. But when you get beaten by 40-16 or 56-16, it's very hard to obviously push someone when the other 2 have given us a bit of a touch up there. But we did get 2 boys in. Ono, who has been there before, and Timoti Paseka, who's first time for the North team. So it was hard, but we got 2 in. It's probably down on past years.
So this wasn't just for the A-grade rep sides either. It was also for under-19s?
Yeah, there was also an under-19 which was run before these games. And the Ipswich team performed really good in that there. They lost their first game to the Gold Coast by about 10 points and they actually beat Brisbane. So they finished second on the ladder. They did have a chance to win it on the last day, but they just couldn't get over the line. And they also have a team announced, which hasn't been announced yet. And I'm sure, the selections have been made, but they haven't been announced yet. So when they are announced, I'm sure there'll be a few boys from Ipswich in this Water Dragons team.
So you're saying you could have a scoop for us Or do we have to wait for the official channels?
Oh, you've got to wait till obviously the league announce it, but I have seen the team. Yes, you
all
can
right.
say
Well,
that.
then in that case, Brenan, you're here. Can you release it?
No, he can't release it. But what I would say is probably the player of the carnival would have been PJ Nowski.
PJ Nowski, yeah.
A front rower from West End, had an outstanding carnival, ran hard, and really put in some big shows in the minutes he played. He played some big minutes, and was really impressed with him. So there's a little scoop for you, Terry.
Excellent. Well, let's have a look at this week's player profile.
Hey, I'm Lorenzo Vogel. I'm 23. Play for Eastern Cobras down in Redbank Plains. I started at the age of 5. I used to play down in Goodna Eagles. Did all my junior rugby there. Then I went over to Swifts. And also back when Cobras was Redbank Bears. And then finished off my teen years at Goodna Eagles. Well, I'm currently in the backs, but coach wants to chuck me in second row this year for the first time, so I'm anywhere at the moment. I had to be going overseas and representing Australia. That was my greatest memory, and the friendship and brotherhood that we got from that. I still keep in touch with a lot of players, so that was probably one of my greatest memories. JT. Yeah, he's just one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and I just love his work ethic on the field. And yeah, I love Cowboys, so JT's the man. We all joke around with each other, we all play games with each other, so it's good in that sense that we all just gel in that way. So yeah, everyone, I guess. Do things right. Don't go away from what you know best, and yeah, stay on the straight and narrow. No drinking, no smoking, and keep humble. Cowboys. It's just the team that I've always followed since I'm growing up, and I used to love Matt Scott as a kid, and JT obviously just being, I think, greatest player.
Thank you to Lorenzo Vogel there from Eastern Cobras. Oh, geez, I love these player profiles, especially in this local edition. You really get to know who these players are, Bomber.
Yeah, I've been out to a couple of them there when they film them there. Some of them are jokesters there, but it does show a bit of the history on where the players come from and where they're heading. So,
all right, well, now let's have a bit more in-depth chat with you. I might grill you a bit, Brenan, if I can. Mate, obviously, league manager probably speaks for itself, but what's your role within the Rugby League Ipswich?
Yep. So obviously, yes, league manager. Myself and a team of 3. Myself plus 3. Look after all things operational within the Ipswich region. That's both the junior and senior game. That's, to give you an example, that's from putting the draws together, to looking after the judiciary side of things, to assisting our clubs with the challenges that they face. All our committees, club committees, are all volunteers. So where possible, we give them a hand. From writing grants to assisting with issues within their clubs. So chasing sponsors, our office is in charge of that as well. And obviously, linking in with the likes of the Gold Coast and the Brisbane and the QRL, ensuring that their policies and procedures are being followed.
So we're 10 weeks into our season now. How have you seen the season? Any surprises do you think?
Yeah, look, I suppose the thing that's surprised me is how close it is. Look, we're working hard to ensure that we've got a competitive competition that's week in, week out. Look, I think Swifts again are from where they've come from last year. They batted overs last year, and I think they've really shown that they're probably one of the form teams. Again, at this stage of the year, Goodna are always strong on paper, and they're traditionally slow starters. So look to them to really come home at this back end of the season. And and Brothers are one. And although Brothers have probably had a significant injury in Chris Ash from the Jets. I think they're always one that there or thereabouts that are dangerous on their day.
On an administration point, I mean, we know on field the competition's quite tight, and it's, you know, but I guess as an administrator, is that easier to find sponsors and to get that ball rolling, or is it still challenging on that grassroots level?
Yeah, look, really challenging, and it needs to be a focus for ours, but I think within our role and where we sit within the game, it's always challenging to entice sponsors. It's about presenting a decent image. It's about showing the business that there's some value in being a part of rugby league in Ipswich. And look, I think as well, it's also about not only having sponsors for us, but really assisting our clubs, our local clubs, with building relationships within the business community as well.
We had Jason Connors on last week, and obviously one of the biggest challenges he has is actually just getting the boys up at training and getting them to be a part of games. Is that just always been an issue with not just Ipswich but all local grassroots football? Yeah,
it's about creating an environment, whether it's an enjoyable one or whatever. It's about those clubs, and our clubs understanding what they mean and what they want to be. So it's, usually a real enjoyable environment is half the battle. Ensuring that the boys are enjoying their rugby league and getting something out of it, I think is the first step for clubs.
Yeah, we've had a few star performances throughout the year. You mentioned Chris Ash at Brothers, who was going good before the injury, Blander Barvu up at Fassifern. Is there anyone else from other clubs that you really like Ray Berra? He sets the light for good in there.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Those three guys. Issy Hafoku from Swifts has been really damaging out of dummy half, I think, this year. Look, and there's some young boys that in the north side that we haven't spoken about, but definitely Richie Lowe, first year back in the Ipswich comp for a few years, that I think over time that north side's a really young core of people, core of blokes, and I think if they can stick together over the next few years, they'll see some benefits. All
right, with that in mind, let's have a look at the competition ladder. Heading into round 11, so congested. I mean, this is even more congested than the Queensland Cup.
Yeah, it is, and I guess it shouldn't be a surprise because we work hard with our clubs to improve all of them. But even West End, I think again I touched on Norse being a young side. Jay Woodward's definitely got a real young group of guys there working hard. They probably haven't quite got the results. And they've lost some tight ones, but if they keep sticking together and working hard, I think they'll pick a few of the bigger boys off at the back end of the year.
All right, well, let's have a look at the 3 games set down for round 11, with all the games this weekend to be played on Sunday. I guess Swifts and Eastern Cobras seems like to be an absolute blockbuster.
Yeah, well, obviously the Cobras haven't been getting the results that their thing on the ladder, you can see they're second last year, but that probably doesn't show where they probably should be. They've pushed nearly every side this year. They haven't had one flogging. They've pushed every side, but they just can't get the 80 minutes done. And obviously, it's an 80-minute game, so if you can't play for 80, you're going to get overtaken towards the end of the game there. And obviously, the top game, which is the game I'll be going to, Fassifern Bombers and Brothers, they're 2 and 3 on the ladder, only through percentages, so that's going to be a blockbuster as well.
Now, I don't mean to ask you to pick your favourite child, Brenan, but all games are on Sunday. Where will you be at?
Sunday. It's a difficult one. I've been to a few Norse games already. The Bombers, seeing as Bombers going out there, I'll dodge that one. I'll probably try and get over the Swifts, mate, and watch the Cobras go around.
All right, looks like a jam-packed weekend of football. Well, that's all the time we have for After the AT80 Local Edition this week. I'd like to thank Brenan. Mate, thank you very much for coming on and giving the insiders the administration side of things. And also my partner in crime, Bomber, thank you very much for your insight as per usual.
No, it's good to talk about the local comp and get the results and the games out there to everyone.
And I hope you enjoyed the show just as much as we like bringing it to you. So if you want to keep up to date, just head to our Facebook page, Phoenix Media Hub. I'm Terry Pascoe. Thank you for watching.